some of the great rabbis that happen to come from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam, and from these different areas. Tonight, I'm concentrating on a famous rabbi, Rabbi Aron Mendes Chumaceiro. He happened to be born, I believe, on the 28th of January in the English year 1810 in Amsterdam, or passed away also in Amsterdam on the 18th of September in the 1882. He had the title, let's say, Chakam, of an area called Curaçao, I believe, which is the country of Curaçao. It's a, let's say, constitute island country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I think it's actually located quite near the Caribbean Sea, also known as the Dutch West Indies. Now, very interesting. I think he would receive various rabbinical degrees, I think, when in his mid-30s, that of a Moreno, let's just say the 1846, at the celebrated, let's say, famous Bet Midrash Torah study hall of Etz Chaim. Now, I think come with the year 1848, he will be awarded with the Royal Gold Medal for the best sermon in the Dutch language. Very interesting enough. Now, the Sephardic synagogue of Amsterdam would propose to elect him as, let's say, the rabbi or the preacher, and many people became a robust discussion whether he should take it or not. I think at that point in time, Portuguese was the only language, except for Hebrew, that was used in the synagogue. But when in 1852, Rabbi Chumaceiro was elected as the head of Jewish court, the Av Bet Din, he succeeded in overcoming the opposition, let's say, to Dutch, and soon established a reputation as one of the, let's say, foremost pulpit orators in Holland, in Netherlands, respectively. Come what, in the year 1852, he would edit the first Dutch Jewish weekly press. It was called the Het Israelitisch Weekblad. I think that's how you pronounce it in that language. In the same year, he was elected to become the head of the Bet Midrash Etz Chaim, which is a very prominent position, and we've spoken about on various videos before about the famous Etz Chaim Bet Midrash, which was at that point in time a very, very famous place. Very interesting. Okay, so I think delegated by the Parnasim, as the officials of the synagogue of his congregation, I think come 1854, he would receive the future King Pedro V of Portugal. He conducted the royal, let's say, visitor and his suite to the Bet Midrash, where the king, noticing the names of the donors to that institution inscribed on the walls, made a significant famous remark over that time. I'll say it, I think it's in Dutch. Para que me qui estão na minha propria terra de Portugal. It seems as though I were in my own land of Portugal. That's what he said over there. When Pedro V ascended the throne in 1856, he removed the civil disabilities of all Jews. Now, let's say he had a more liberal conservative views, Rabbi Chumaceiro did. Let's just say on account of his liberal conservative views, Rabbi Chumaceiro was strongly opposed by the ultra-Orthodox party at that point in time, and he therefore accepted in 1855 from King William III the appointment as chief rabbi of the colony of Curaçao. And at the solicitation of the time, the special ambassador, his name was O. van Ries, who was sent by the king to adjust the claims of, let's say, persecuted Dutch Jews of Coro, respectively. Venezuela. He succeeded in settling the complicated disputes to entire satisfaction of the contending parties. Now, Rabbi Chumaceiro visited his birthplace, I think, in 1861, when the office of Chacham was given to him, which he declined from whatever, receiving on the occasionally a cost testimonial from the Sephardic synagogue. It states that he obtained his discharge as the Chakam of Curaçao in 1869, and he received a liberal pension from the king for the numerous and faithful services rendered to his country. So he was a great patriarch also. Now, he had 4 sons. Included among them was Aron Mendes Chumaceiro. He was an attorney at law. He himself was born in Amsterdam in the year 1841. He would pass away, I believe, in 1902, 19th of August. He would move, I think, to Curaçao in 1856, studying law. He'd soon be admitted in 1872 to the bar. Another one of his children was Benjamin Mendes Chumaceiro. He happened to be a chazan, a cantor, I believe, born naturally in the year 1871. He was elected, I think, in 1892 as an assistant cantor of the Portuguese synagogue at Hague, and in 1895 as a cantor of Hamburg. Another one of his sons would go on to become a great rabbi and a dayan, Rabbi Aron Mendes Chumaceiro. He was a dayan and an editor. He was born in the year 1833 on 11th of March. He passed away in 1900, right at the start of the 20th century. He was a dayan of the Sephardi synagogue. He was an acting Chacham for the Portuguese Jews of North and South Netherlands of the Holland. He was an inspector of Jewish schools in Amsterdam. He was a head librarian and had a prominent role of the Bet Midrash Etz Chaim, and editor, as we said before, of the Het Israelit Wikiblad. Another one of his children, Yosef Chaim Mendes Chumaceiro. He was a rabbi and an editor. He was born, I think, in July 1844, to be precise, on 3rd. He would study ministry under his father at Curaçao, and from 1867 to 1874, he would be heading the Beit Knesset, the synagogue called the Bet El Congregation in South Carolina. This would be various points of time. He had other jobs also, I think, in New Orleans from 1884 to 1887. Another rabbinic job, Bet El Emet, I think in Philadelphia from 1889 to 1891. And Mikveh Yisrael also, I believe, at one stage in time, between 1892 to 1898. So I have to double check on that. And he would come back to Curaçao as a rabbi in 1898. And I think during the 1879 to 1883, his residence would be at New Orleans. And he was also the dedicator of the Jewish South, the weekly journal. He would give over various different sermons, discourses, obviously established and printed it, many of the different writings, especially in the year 1900, Rabbi Aron Mendes would do. So he was like a very famous rabbi of his time. He was awarded, as we say, for a Royal Gold Medal for the best sermon in Dutch language, and he was very, very famous. You could learn much more about him. There's actually some of his teachings, I believe, that is featured on National Library Israel Institute website over here, and they talk about more in his family, more of the family members. Sarah Fidanku, somehow there was a family connection. Most would be Rabbi Aron Mendes Chumaceiro. I think, according to this place which I'm reading, he was born in the year 1750, and from Jet Levet Esser was born, I believe, in Amsterdam in 1766 and passed away in 1892, but I have to double check on that. Well, he was a famous rabbi of his time. It's a rabbi, I think we didn't speak about him before, so I thought it would be definitely appropriate and definitely beneficial, let's just say, to speak about the famous Chacham today, because it's we're growing as a community here. I think he was Dayan also. He was part of a Bet Din, which included Dayan Solomon Cohen Pereira, Dayan Rafael Montezinos, Rabbi Isaac Mendes de Sola was in the same Bet Din as him, very famous enough. Rabbi David Lopez Cardoza was a Dayan also, was working with him. And Rabbi Elazar Aaron Vaz, I believe. These were rabbis of high caliber at that stage in time, which we can't speak about enough. So please, everyone, learn more about the famous Dutch Jewry. It had a very, very famous community, very famous community over here. There was many famous rabbis of yesteryear. So I recommend everyone to learn more. So friends, wishing you all well. We're a community here. Please subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on 7,000 subscribers, which will be absolutely phenomenal if we can get to that in the next month. And if you descend from any of the great Chachamim we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. Let's hope we grow together and build the community more and more, and watch over all the previous videos. So wishing all a fantastic day. Take care and be well. Thank you.